All right, we are talking Friday Night SmackDown here on the Give Us a Shot Network. Follow us on all our social media at High Spot Podcast. We're talking the Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns promo trendsetter from this past Friday night. A lot to talk about it, more positive than negative, but we had Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns meeting at Bobby Dowd Stadium. That is the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets home field. That is Roman Reigns' alma mater. We played college football defensive lineman for the Yellow Jackets. Very successful career. And both cities have a lot of meaning for Cody and Roman. Atlanta, Georgia. I really like this promo. I really did. We're in the cinema era, I believe, in WWE. I had a lot of great things to say about it. Of course, there's naysayers that are nitpicking about it, what they didn't like. But you got to admit, Trendsetter, this is, like I mentioned, the cinema era in WWE, and just your thoughts about it, because there's a lot to dissect.
A lot to dissect there. But what I would say here is that I felt WWE hit a home run with this one. I felt the way they presented it, the way they allowed the audience to kind of get more in depth with these characters. Now, this is something you could obviously probably do if you wanted a meeting between the two of these in the ring with the crowd kind of showing their energy, have that type of environment, atmosphere. I think this one was more sentimental because let's be honest, this storyline between Cody and Roman and the bloodline, everything put in together has been one of the longest storylines and still ceases to feel like it's going to be over anytime soon. I mean, if we're counting innings, I don't know what inning we're in right now, but again, we're nowhere near done unless we go into extras, right? But I feel like they're allowing us to kind of get more in depth the fact that, yes, this can be literally for, the biggest prize in the game, which is the WWE Championship, which is something that links Roman and Cody together, but it's more. You're looking at the lineage. You're looking at how personal this is for both men. For Roman, obviously, in terms of him talking about now, he's a man that's basically, in a way, lost everything. He has nothing to lose. And Cody now is in the position that Roman was in after WrestleMania. So it's funny to see how the dynamic changes and to see Roman at this point right now, really, as Cody would say, a man with no tribe. What direction is he going into right now? Is he going to destroy what he created? So really interesting.
Truly is. And if you go about it, it's kind of roles reversed, because before Roman had everything. He had the bloodline with him, and Cody was the one that was vying for Roman's championship. But now it's the roles reversed, and Roman now is the one that has nothing to lose, which they made a point of it. And Cody has a lot to lose here by even injecting himself into this tag team match at Bad Blood, which is 2 weeks away in Atlanta, Georgia at the State Farm Arena. So we know that. But I just think this whole, let's talk about first the production. I think it's another way to do it. You said they could have had it in an arena, but do this here in a place that has sentimental value in Atlanta, Georgia, in Georgia, the state of Georgia, where they're going to have this tag team match of Bad Blood. I think, again, the symbolism is there. You talk about Roman Reigns, who basically his contributions to the state is he played football. But when it was Cody's turn, it wasn't about what did your family do, what did you do? And then Cody right away talked about the lineage of the Rhodes and what they did. Any issue with that whatsoever? Because a lot of people were very, very nitpicking about this, saying that Cody, the second Cody talked about, it's what Dusty did and not what Cody did. Did that bother you a little bit in that dialogue? Because let's talk about it. The production was great, but then we get to this point where they talk about the contributions of what they did. Who do you think had the better contribution, Roman or Cody?
Well, to me, it's clearly Cody in the family lineage. Now, there are going to be people that are going to say, well, he's bringing up his father. Well, let's be honest. Every single superstar that's gone up against Cody to this particular point as he's WWE champion and continue to bring up is the one thing, the big elephant in the room. This isn't making fun of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, but they bring him up. The history, the lineage of the family is there. That's a fact. So if people are upset with facts, then they're just nitpicking on things that don't mean anything.
With facts, he asked him, what did he do? And then Cody talks about what his dad did. Roman Reigns.
He said, Jeff, his family. He's included in the family. He's had moments in Atlanta as well that he's presented along with his brother Dustin and Dusty. So he's bringing the family lineage. Okay, Roman Reigns played football. Whoop-de-doo. Did you win a national championship? No. Okay, you won a sport. He's been in the history. Now, again, let's turn the tables around, Jeff. Every single time Roman talks about his accomplishments, of course, they're there. The resume is evident, but he always brings up his family, his bloodline too. So it goes both ways here. It doesn't go one direction.
So to the people that were kind of dogging Cody on that, was it just something to just maybe just do a little, like maybe just nod him even more, prod him even more into this just dislike for Cody as the WWE champion right now?
It's probably leaning in that direction. But back to the comment though, he talked about his family. Okay, but he meant it because the link between family and Atlanta, Georgia is that this is his home. That might be Roman Reigns' stadium, but this is his home. So Roman in his moniker thinking everything is still his, although he doesn't have the one thing that means he is the man in WWE, which is the WWE Championship. I thought it was kind of contradictory. Yeah, I thought honestly Cody got the one up on him for saying that because it's like, yeah, this might be your arena, that might be your park benches and your little grass here on the field, but this whole place here, as he mentioned, all the areas around the stadium, this is his home. So enjoy the stadium. You played football. Congrats. The legend of the Rhodes family, with him included, have been really impactful in Atlanta.
So of course Cody and of course the family has a lot of roots in Georgia, and like Cody said, and I agree with you that Cody got the one up there because even Roman Reigns, no pun intended, had to acknowledge that because he said as soon as he was done with it, he went to the beach. So we know what that means too. Boom, went to Florida and the sun and the palm trees and all that good stuff. So I give you that. I give you that point, Trendsetter, and I think it was well said by you because again, it's a family contributions to the state. So we get to that, and now again we'll get back to the production of it. Obviously, find out that Paul Heyman was the one that was kind of behind it. Of course, the talented crew of WWE as well. Just that face-off. Are you a fan of the way they go about it? But like you said, we could have had a boring aspect where they're both in the ring, and I'm pretty sure the fans wanted it. But we're able to see actually fans' reaction to it, and they seem to enjoy it. So in this era, in this stage of what WWE is doing and this new way of doing it, do you think that do you think that we should see more of it? Do you think that this is something that just because to me, I always thought that this was storytelling. To me, I always thought this was a soap opera. And when people ask me why do you watch it, it's because that it is like it's a male soap opera, and this is just one version of doing it. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, it's not like in the '80s or the '90s. It's different. You have to evolve." And I think this is a great evolution of what WWE is doing, and it adds to the story because we could have had it in the center of the ring. Instead, we had it in the center of a football field where again the city is what matters, where the tag team matchup is going to happen in Atlanta is the backdrop. That's to me the most important thing. I think that they made a great point.
I think we're definitely gonna get more of these. I think it'll be a balance in between. I don't think every single storyline or every single type of rivalry is going to have this. I think as much as it could have been done in the ring, like I mentioned before, I felt its purpose to do it in a theatrical way made sense. I mean, look, before you know it, we're going to be in the whole Netflix era where it kind of felt like a series that you're watching on whether it be HBO, Showtime, in this case, Netflix. It had that feel behind it that it was a series that you're watching on television. You couldn't wait till we get to the conclusion of this storyline or the next season premiere or wherever the case might be, right? So I felt it completely touched those scenarios. See, the difference is if you take this in the arena base, where you have the audience's reaction to it, I'm sure you'd have a lot of people chanting Roman, Cody, great, right? But you would miss the small inflections of the voice, the look, those small little things that you don't necessarily get in a arena atmosphere in the public. So I thought it was done very well, and you could tell in the tones of both Roman and Cody that compared to prior to WrestleMania, their tones, their characters, the way they're carrying themselves are completely different. Let me ask you this question, Jeff. Right, and a lot of people have mentioned this to me. It's like they feel like the roles have reversed now. That Roman is now in Cody's spot, and Cody now is in Roman. I understand that, but you know, Cody mentioned something in the promo in the meet that I thought was really interesting because Roman talks about how he has nothing to lose, right? And how this is all his. So, yes, he's trying to show vulnerability, but in a way, in my opinion, there's no humbleness in Roman Reigns whatsoever. I mean, you got beaten by the better man one night at WrestleMania, and like Cody said, 8 cars, very subtle. Roman still has that aura about him. Like, he is the man. He just doesn't have the title. Do you think he's vulnerable, or he's just kind of carrying around business as usual?
Oh, I think that Roman Reigns, like he said, that he's not changing. I mean, this is not a watered down version of Roman Reigns. This is just Roman Reigns without the championship. This is basically the tribal chief who's missing the Ulafala, but that's not going to define him. He says he is the original tribal chief. He is the only tribal chief. So he's walking around like it, and he's looking to reclaim his title, and in some aspects, maybe trying to recover the bloodline, whatever's left of it. Obviously, it's not going to be the this incarnation, but he's going to try to recover some aspects of the bloodline. Now, the question to me is, he does not come off contrite, but on the other end, Cody Rhodes has that title, but in recent promos, in recent interactions, he's the one that's come off like, well, I don't need to be in this, which he told Nick Aldis, which kind of surprised Nick Aldis that he wouldn't automatically sign. It took him to actually get in there with Roman Reigns to finally say, hey, hand it over to me. I'm signing, kind of another alpha move too, because basically Roman had to give Cody that contract, right? So that's another way where he's kind of been an alpha in front of Roman Reigns. And then finally, saying that it's not yours to take, and basically saying that it was, it's not his time anymore. His time wasn't past WrestleMania. All these kind of lead you to believe in some way that, it's kind of like heelish tendencies, which we talk about right in the business. Do you think that the rules are reversing, that Cody now is more acting in the role of Roman Reigns, where, hey, listen, man, or is it just confidence that we're taking in, or maybe we're just taking the confidence in the wrong way?
I think it's a little bit of both, but if I had to choose one direction, I think we're taking the confidence in a different light. Just because here's a guy in Roman Reigns that has done everything and who's made everyone's life in the WWE a living hell under the bloodline as being the tribal chief. And now the roles are reversed, and now Cody is in a position of power. Cody's in a position where he can dictate what he does and doesn't want to do, right? I mean, we all thought that he was going to be the fighting champion and do the right thing, but sometimes you don't ever have to do that all the time, especially when it comes to an enemy in terms of Roman Reigns, who he hasn't deferred from the fact that they're not friends. They'll never be friends, but there is some respect that Cody has for Roman, and I can't say if the same replies back to him, but why wouldn't you in this scenario? I mean, Cody has had to go through what everybody else on the main roster's had to go through in terms of overcoming and trying to destroy this bloodline. Cody thought by defeating Roman Reigns at WrestleMania it was all over, but no, his subordinates, the people underneath him that Roman couldn't control, have now gone and moved on without him. So I find it interesting how the audience now is turning and seeing these quote unquote heelish tendencies going on with Cody, when it's like, yes, but you were not too long ago against that in terms of Roman, but now that it's being done against Roman, you guys are offended by it? Come on, like this is what I love about the wrestling community, that they change so quickly. They forget very easily what happened not too long ago.
I think it's one thing when you're chasing and you're the underdog, and then when you get to the top, you're not that story anymore.
Give Cody about 2.5 years, then maybe you guys want to react that way.
People are talking about Roman Reigns' rebirth and him trying to get back to the top, right? And listen, not even like I guess the next day when Roman Reigns left, finally the appreciation happened. All the ones that were saying, 1,316 days was too much. Oh my God, whatever. And then the next day on Raw, they're saying thank you, Roman. And then the next time we had SmackDown, they were saying we want Roman and thank you, Roman, and they wanted to see him. So I mean, I totally agree with you in that aspect, where I think the confidence kind of is playing to the fact where people are looking into, hey, wait a minute now here, Cody Rhodes is. This is sometimes unlike Cody-like to be this confident and to, things are going my way now, or I'm not going to be. So it's not what a babyface would normally do. A babyface would not duck away from a fight. A babyface would not brag, right? But this is, there's so many I guess there's so many things, there's so many lines that's going on here too, that we just have to, that we're trying to pay attention to everything, because we're trying to dissect everything, and we're all trying to solve this puzzle. I think it's fun because we don't know the answers to all of this, and I think for the first time we don't have a direct sign of things that are going to happen. We don't have the answers, and it's fun because this could go in several directions. This could be maybe the fourth inning, the fifth inning. We don't know. There's so much to play out, and this could go for months, for years, because there's more Samoans out there. There's more members of the dynasty. And so this is something that I just want to sit back and enjoy. Of course, we have to talk about it, but I'm not going to rack my brain and try to dissect every single thing that happens. But it involves more players, because not only has Roman Reigns made the life of Cody Rhodes a little bit miserable, but so has done so for Kevin Owens. And that is now where we are. And I'm kind of moving a little bit ahead here, but it gets into the Kevin Owens relationship, because for 4 years, Kevin Owens has had the interaction with the Bloodline, and championship match after championship match, he has come close to defeating this Bloodline, but has come short because there's been somebody in the way winning for or being on the side of Roman Reigns that has made him not become the champion. So to see your friend that you've been very close with and you've been fighting alongside with now team up with this individual has to get into the mind of a guy like Kevin Owens. And we're not going to talk about specifically what's going to happen, but again, it's another part, another underlying aspect of another character development that, hey, this has not only affected guys like Kevin Owens, but what about a guy like Randy? What a guy like Randy who sees this, and it could lead to a future conflict with Cody Rhodes. The storytelling is there. It is amazing. It is touching base on every single player, and it adds more people to it. And I just think that's also a great element that they're doing right now, because it's not just a story with Cody and the Bloodline. It's also with Kevin Owens and perhaps Randy as well.
Yeah, I'll just add a little bit onto that too. When you look at a guy like Kevin Owens, for example, you see the look on his face after SmackDown, and Cody came in to help him against the Bloodline that were beating on him mercilessly. You're looking at him like he has this look on his face like he's ready to snap. And maybe not necessarily on the Bloodline, but maybe snap on somebody that he considered one of his close friends. And so now, because of this 4-year torture that Kevin Owens has gone through by dealing with the Bloodline, it seems like every single morning he wakes up, he's got to think about the Bloodline, right? And to that effect, I think it's starting to warp his mind, where now he doesn't know who to trust anymore. He doesn't know who's his friends and who's not his friends. And, any great movie, any great series, you get scenarios like that where, like, you think somebody's on your side, but are they really? Is Cody the villain, or is Kevin Owens the villain here, or is Roman the villain? Every single way you dissect it, you can see the other person's point of view. And now let's include Randy in this, where look at Randy Orton, right? He's gone on to Cody Rhodes' podcast and said how proud he is of him. We know the history between the two of these. It's more of like a, Cody is like looking at Randy more like a father figure, big brother type of thing. And now Randy at the not that he's done any time soon, but in the twilight of his career, to a certain extent, with all due respect, he is now looking at the fact that he's had opportunities at the world title twice now and has lost. And now, what other opportunity might he have? Potentially the WWE Championship? Maybe he might see that Cody has changed. He's not the same person he once was. It's different, like you said before, sure, in the beginning of this. It's different when you're chasing, but now when you're the champion and everything's on you, you're shed in a different light. So those are the intriguing factors, not only in Roman and Cody, which I think they did so well because you're able to see both perspectives of where they're going in their character and their lives right now, in their careers. And now with Kevin included and Randy, and then let's not also forget too, we haven't seen the wise man, Jimmy. Where does Jay fit in this whole scenario? Jay's kind of in a singles run himself where he doesn't want to do anything to do with the Bloodline. And The Rock is the big question mark as well. All this stuff is really intriguing going into the fall and winter season.
And then you talk about as well, when we get to Randy as well, is that, remember, the Bloodline are the guys that took him out. The Bloodline are the guys that had him out of commission for a while. And now he's coming back and he's fighting alongside Cody. This, to me, is a good way for them to start the rivalry as well, for Randy having a reason. We need to know a reason why Randy would turn, because it's all been lovey-dovey. It's all been, hey, listen, I'm there for you. We've had the tears on the Cody's bus. But there's got to be a reason why Randy would turn. So that is a very good reason to inject. What would Randy's reaction be that he's fighting alongside Roman Reigns at Bad Blood? So we talked about that aspect that's affecting other people as well, which is great because, again, it adds just more to this story. But to finish up on the promo, then we get to the point where, like, okay, we know that Roman has nothing to lose. We know that Cody does have a lot to lose because that he's that champion, and now he could lose friendships too. That's something underlying as well. He could lose friendships because of that. But then we get towards the end, which was my favorite part, and it's basically that, hey, when this is done, I'm coming for that because listen, a heel though would not tell you that, but Roman Reigns is telling you, Cody, straight up to your face that I'm coming after that championship when all is said and done. And Cody, quiet, doesn't say anything, but then he says that it's not yours to take. And then Roman goes, I'm not going to cry like Kevin Smith did in the, but I'm telling you, but I'm going to be, he's like, you're in my way. And then he says it again, you're in my way in life. And Cody steps back and Roman just walks away. Excellent. Excellent. I mean, listen, I don't know.
So what did you feel like Roman meant when he said that? You're in my way in life. What did that mean to you when you heard that?
My way in life because you are what I need to be again. So that is it. So right now, Cody is, besides the bloodline, Cody is in the way because that is his direct route to becoming the champion. So I totally believe that's what it is. I think that he is in his way of getting to where he is again, to go back to the mountain, to the top of the mountain. In order to be on top of the mountain, you got to win that championship. So I think in life right now, his life is to be the champion again. So I think that's what Roman means. Unless you think otherwise, or if you think it's part of it, this would be where you can insert your 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean, I get your point on that. I think it's a valid point. But to me, when I heard Roman looking down, not looking Cody in the eye anymore, and saying you're in my way in life, I got from that, as anyone would, when you dissect the movie, you just like dissect the scene, right? To me, it felt like Roman's like, you are that one blemish in my life that I can't get rid of. And now I need to make right by how he said too. Once it's all over, I'm coming after that.
So it is for the
and with Cody interjecting, and then after letting him go, prior to him saying the line "You're in my way in life," he said, "It's not yours to take." And that's the hardest thing for anyone. Let's be honest here in this industry too. Like, spaces on top are few and far between, and when you have that, you protect it. It's yours. I mean, when you are the man, you are the guy. I doubt any professional wrestler, sports entertainer, whatever you want to call it, would say it's easy to let it go when the company decides to move in another direction, regardless whether they're right or not. It's hard to step down because you still feel you are that person. You don't want to give up that position in that spot. So when Cody said that comment, I felt realism in the two, saying that, you had your time. And not that his time's anywhere near done in terms of Roman. I'm sure he's, his career is still not even close to being over yet. But when Cody said, you've had your moment in the light, now it's my turn. And the confidence in which he said that was like, he's not letting this go without a fight, as you would expect, right? So I thought great statements by both. But what really left me struck when Roman made that line up, or said that line at the end of the promo, I was like, that's the first time you've actually witnessed Roman admit, maybe not vulnerability in character, but now somewhat of a doubt in himself, saying that you're in my way in life, because he's dominated everything so far. He has yet to dominate Cody Rhodes. So to me, that's really interesting.
So I think we're trying to say the same thing, because to me it's the championship, it's the spot. I think that's where he needs to be, because he is a competitor. He's been on the mountaintop for 4.5 years as that champion. So that to me is what the gist of the you're in my way in life means. For him to be complete, for him to be on top of the mountain again, for him to be the man, he's got to be the champion. And right now, that championship is possessed by Cody Rhodes. So now, though, we get into this. How are they going to coexist at Bad Blood? Obviously, there is a Roman Reigns has promised to have his back. That is a promise, because at the end of the day, this is a battle against the Bloodline. This is against a battle against Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu. You cannot take these guys lightly. And now the question is what is the end result from this tag team match? Because obviously, when this is over with, they're going to fight. And two questions: where do they go from there? And when do we get Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns 3? I don't think it happens at WrestleMania. The rumor is it's going to happen at Crown Jewel. I get the fact that WWE's in the business of, hey, we can't wait for WrestleMania for some of these. We have to have them, and obviously Crown Jewel would be a place where a big money fight that they would want to do. And I could see that, although I wish they would save it for Mania, but obviously there are other plans, right? So this, again, has a lot of questions that we don't know the answer to. But if we just want to keep it simple and just keep it to Bad Blood, where do we see this? Because obviously we're going to have our Bad Blood preview show shortly here on the HSP podcast, available on the Give It a Shot Network. For now, though, what's your inkling of what's going to happen in this matchup between Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, against Solo and Jacob?
Well, we'll dissect it more when we talk about Bad Blood. But my initial feeling towards this match will be that Cody and Roman, as much as they say they'll have each other's back, and I believe both of them they will, they're not going to come out victorious in this one. And it's going to be basically Roman, who has nobody who's a friend of his, and Cody right now, who might have other individuals or groups questioning his loyalty, not have their back. And the numbers game always seems to work in this scenario. So I think from the perspective of this, I don't think a match like this, whether Cody or Roman did win it, was going to solve anything, because if they do face each other at Crown Jewel, which is the rumor, I don't think this civil war within the bloodline is nowhere near done. So I think Roman's time in terms of the championship reign or getting back the title, it's not going to happen anytime soon. This is too much of an in-depth story for it to end after one match. So that's what I think is going to happen. I think this new version, this new bloodline is going to still cause Roman and Cody a heck of a lot of trouble.
And do you see this as a one-off as far as them being a tag team? Because this is close to kind of a mega powers we're going to have that we had in our era. And this is as close as to a mega powers that we will see in this era. So would this probably, in my eyes, this is like a one and done. I don't see a tag team title run in their future. Maybe. I mean, it could, you never know. But is this a one-off after Bad Blood?
I think it's a one-off. I really do. And I've talked to you about this off air too, where I've compared it to, we've talked about how these two are interacting with each other and how certain people sound kind of heelish in how they're approaching themselves or their character on screen. Let's just look at Rock and Austin as an example too. Two beloved characters, but when they came together, they didn't get along. They didn't mesh well. So I think in the same scenario too, I think it's a one-off. We won't see this again anytime soon. So enjoy it, guys, because it's probably a one and done.
So there you go. The promo at the end of the day, my take, it was a home run. They knocked it out of the park. I want to see more of these. I think it was a great way for them to, I guess, like you said, Trendsetter, to make sure that the emphasis of what the words they were trying to say was heard. Because I don't think between we want Roman, we want Cody, I don't think you have gotten that same effect. I think it would have been the tone of the words would have been missed. And I think in Roman's way of talking too, the kind of low voice too, I think that would have been missed as well. And I think that this kind of emphasized the importance of what Cody being in Roman's life has been, because it's got to be torture, because for the amount of time that he's been away, obviously this is what he's been thinking about, getting back to that mountaintop, being the man, and then losing the bloodline. And so I think that this was so well done. And obviously, if Paul Heyman was behind this as well. So obviously, he has really rolled up his sleeves and really taken ownership of this as well. So I think at the end of the day, this was pure cinema and a heck of a job by probably one of the two best wrestlers, if not now in our generation.
Jeff, we know what Roman has in stake for this. What does Cody have? What does Cody have to gain in this?
Yeah, we're going to find out, man. We're going to find out.
I'm asking you, what do you think? We know what Roman wants. He wants to follow back. He wants to be the tribal chief again. He wants to either maybe stop what he once created and be the leader again. What does Cody have to gain in this? Why is he involving himself in this?
Because as much as Cody did not want to get involved in family business, I think at the end of the day, he has to show Roman that to him, he's the one that's going to end the bloodline, not Roman. I think this is without a doubt a way for him to show Roman, hey, that you're not the man anymore. I'm gonna be the alpha. I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna be the alpha, and I'm gonna take care of this myself. You watch at Bad Blood, there's going to be a lot of dissension between these two, and who gets the win in that struggle to get the win. I think this means a lot to Cody because he needs to prove it to Roman that he is the man by getting rid I mean, not getting rid, but just defeating the bloodline at Bad Blood.
Fair enough.
Guys, we have dissected the Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns promo. What do you guys think? Let us know on the High Spot Podcast. And you're watching it here on only one place on the Give Us a Shot Network.